Road trips, you should never know what's around the next bend, right? It's about exploring. Welcome to Trident Winery here in Pine, Arizona. Organic wine done in a very special way with a couple of very cool people inside. Ray Stevens and his partner Julie are the owners of Trident Winery. They've lived in Pine for over 20 years. The first time you meet Ray, winemaker is probably not the first thing that comes to mind. Think more a combo between crazy inventor guy and Bear Grylls.
I'm not going to be the guy that's going to make the next world's best Cabernet Sauvignon, and I'm not even going to try. I want to make wines no one has ever made before. I want to make them without sulfites, as organic and natural as I possibly can, and as out of the box as I can. And the people who know me well, I'm pretty out of the box. Like right now, I'm starting 3 new prototype wines that are very healthy out of fruits that Americans never see. Julie does a lot of the research on some of these, and then it's my job to figure out how to combine it with something and make it not taste bad. I'm kind of proud of the fact that every single bottle that's ever been put in a box that ends up with a customer's got my fingerprints on it.
The first thing you'll notice when you walk in the Trident tasting room is just how comfortable it is. It feels exactly the way it should.
This is our tasting list here. We have about 13 different wines that we taste throughout the week. I see an empty glass. I see. Yes. I'm gonna go invade over here. Do you mind if I sit next to you? Oh. So what are you getting?
Okay, I just tried the raspberry merlot and it was stunning.
Okay.
I'd like to try the apple pie.
Ray made this up with apples that were picked in Pine.
Okay.
They're actually off that location right there. Okay. We went over there.
These are pineapples.
These are pineapples. We infused it with some cinnamon.
Okay.
When I tasted it, I was like, I think that tastes like apple pie.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's kind of got the color.
Yeah, it's a real pretty color.
Of apple pie as well. What is up here?
This at one time was a little 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
It sat for about 15 years. It was remodeled about 2.5 years ago. Upstairs is a nice little room as well as a real nice little balcony to sit on in the evenings.
Very cool. Well, hey, let's venture outside. 15 minutes into our visit at Trident, I really started digging this place. I mean, where else are you gonna try elderberry and maca wine or prickly pear cactus wine? The wine list is as unique as the whole property is. There's a cool outdoor dining area, a garden, even a big oak tree you can sit under and eat blackberries.
I'll show you outside.
All right.
This is our great little patio. People love to come up here and sit outside.
Can I walk and drink?
Oh, I guess
Can I explore
We have
and
no
sip?
rules. We're in Pine.
All right. No rules. We're in Pine. So if someone's going to take a road trip to Pine, right? Mm-hmm. What's your opinion? Why do they stop by Trident?
It's quaint, it's real, it's different. It's fun to compare all the different wines because it's something you never tasted before. They can bring their kids in here, they can bring the dogs in here after hiking.
After chilling in the tasting room and cruising around the property, we really wanted to check out where all the magic happens. But a couple more glasses of wine first won't hurt anybody. Can I have one more glass of wine before we go up there?
I suppose.
All right, let's do it. People are so friendly up here.
We have people hug us when they leave because it's
I'm
just
hugging
nice
you before I leave.
Okay.
You know that. I'm hugging you. I might even hug Ray if he's lucky.
I don't kiss anybody's got more hair.
Yeah.
I didn't say kiss Ray. Ray and Julie agreed to take us up the hill and show us the winery. But before we got there, we ran into a little bit of a traffic jam. Now, those are the weirdest horses I've ever seen.
Just be slow and constant with your movements and you won't spook them.
Ray is the elk whisperer.
Tall cows, and then the smaller one on the right is a yearling.
I've never been this close to this many baby elk.
He's pregnant. She hasn't dropped yet, and it's a month and a half late.
Is there anything cooler than running into a herd of elk on a trip to a winery?
There's a pole on the other side of that cabin.
Well, it was a big wide world out there.
Once we were done hanging out with the furry locals, we made it to the winery. The winery is hardcore. I've never seen how the fermenting process goes down. I didn't expect quite the operation Ray had created.
Coming into the winery, my batches are in 330-gallon batches or multiples of it if I have that much fruit. When wine is fermenting, it produces two things, predominantly alcohol and CO2. What you're seeing right here is the CO2 that's being produced by this wine that's fermenting right now. As it gets closer to being dry or being eating all the sugar,
Yeah.
it slows down. So the reason for this manifold is because we're below grade and I have so many fermenters in this small space. If I had 3 or more of them going at one time, you would produce enough CO2 in here that a human couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So now it pumps all the CO2 outside.
Very cool.
What's in here is the 2016 version of Ocotillo wine. This is plum wine that's still fermenting right now.
Yep.
This one we just finished bottling yesterday. This is strawberry and chocolates.
Ray's an inventor and engineer, so you know he couldn't help himself when it comes to the bottling process.
This is a manual corker that is available on the internet. You stick a bottle underneath here.
Yep.
You put a cork in here manually.
Yep.
You pull the handle down, it squeezes the cork, and then shoves it in the bottle with that. An automated corker for a winery starts at 10 grand.
Gotcha.
This is 150 bucks.
Sure.
So for 2.5 years, we've been using this. So I got the idea a few months ago about automating this. This button closes the iris. This button sets the cork, and that one's ready for the next part of the process. So I can fill 4 bottles and cork 4 bottles as fast as they can be washed and put in the box. The foil that goes on the top of the bottle goes on. The foils actually look like this, and they're not shrunk yet. So this goes over the top of the bottle. This is a lot like a toaster. 1 second, it heat shrinks it. It goes on here, you turn the handle 1 time, and you have a label on the bottle. It goes in the box, it gets taped up, and it's out of here.
These guys are just cool. They're down-to-earth people doing what they love, and you can see it in their tasting room and taste it in their wines. On your next road trip through Pine, stop by Trident Winery and make some new friends.